let's move on to the other cornerstone of the DC franchise. And we're not talking about Robert Pattinson's Batman in his Elseworld with Matt Reeves. We are going to talk about The Brave and the Bold. This is a Batman movie that's going to introduce the Bat family to the DCU. Batman's going to be played by a new actor, and we'll introduce Damian Wayne as Robin. We are getting a Batman and Robin story. At this point, if you guys don't know the lore, Damian Wayne, I believe, is the fourth Robin. Fifth Robin.
Well,
There's Ricky Flex is holding his arrow.
If you include Stephanie Brown.
I don't know who that is. So no, we don't count her. We're going to go because you have Dick Grayson, you got Jason Todd, you got Tim Drake. And then you got Damian Wayne. Damian Wayne is the daughter of Talia al Ghul, the son, obviously, of Bruce Wayne. The grandfather's Ra's al Ghul of Damian Wayne. He's this young assassin raised by the League of Shadows. Batman takes him under his wing. And if you know the story and the relationship in the comic books and in the animated movies, Damian Wayne is like this loose cannon. He's not afraid to kill people. I think it's going to be a nice contradiction between those two characters, one who doesn't believe in killing, one who's raised on killing. And it's going to be a Batman story that we never got before, right? With Batman having a kid. And when's the last time we had Robin on the big screen in true form wearing, right, the suit? They have to go back to Chris O'Donnell in the 90s. Got to go to Batman and Robin. We've been afraid to attack a Batman and Robin movie ever since. They kind of hinted at it in The Dark Knight Rises. So, Ricky Flex, we're getting a Batman movie, introducing the Bat family. What's your grade with this alternate Batman story to Reeves' universe?
I have a clarifying question. My grade has to be to this specific movie, or can I just do it off of the announcement? Because a big part of the announcement for me is what could happen because of this type of announcement.
I don't understand what you're saying at all. You're excited.
Okay, I'm just going to say what I have. I have this as an A-.
So do I.
I think the Bat family is a story that we've never seen on the big screen. Needed to happen. And the Damian Wayne aspect just changes the game. I think this opens up literally a multitude of stories that you could have going for decades. It's crazy. It opens up the Al Ghuls, Talia, Raj. It opens up potentially Nightwing. It opens up a Jason Todd spinoff or show or movie. I always thought the Bat family, the gruesomeness of it, Damian Wayne, former assassin, Jason Todd, what happens with Jason Todd? I think the darkness of it, should have been a DC Elseworlds, personally. I don't love it being as a core Batman, your main Batman in the DCU, but I guess you have a Robert Pattinson and DC Elseworlds, so you can't kind of have both going at the same time. You kind of have to do something completely different to help with that clarity that we talked about at the top. So hit or miss there. Now, also, The Brave and the Bold. So I hate the look of it with on HBO Max, there's The Brave and the Bold Batman. It's like the light blue and gray
the
suit.
kid show?
Yeah, and that's what I think of. And even the comic the Grant Morrison comic, I think uses that color scheme. They cannot be using that color scheme in a Bat family movie. They just can't be. So I'm just holding out hope that they're definitely not going to do that until I see that, though. A-.
Yeah, I have an A- here as well. This is something that you don't have time to just do a Batman origin or even just a year 2 Batman. You got to jump deeper. You got to give a different flavor for the DC fans, right? You got ones that want to see Batman crime saga type story that Matt Reeves is offering. They were nervous that Batman was going to be integrated into this new world. Now they don't have to worry about it, and you get one that's even more comic book-y. You have the faithful adaptation by Matt Reeves in the standalone type of adventure there, but here it's you're getting all the nerd stuff that comes along with Batman, the Bat family. You assume Batgirl might be a part of this story. It might be Oracle at this point, where
too soon.
Yeah, she might be the Joker takes her out and she's in the wheelchair and she's the girl from the chair, as Ned wants to be in the Spider-Man franchise. Ned leads there. I would have loved if this was actually Tim Drake rather than Damian Wayne. You're jumping that far ahead in the Batman lore. Like you're going through three Robins. I wonder if they're going to change the canon at all when it comes to who has worked with Batman, the Robins he's worked with, right? The kids that he's quote unquote adopted. I feel like you're jumping ahead really far and you're going to have a Nightwing story. I feel like you might have already jumped into like a Red Hood existing in this world when you could have told that story of the origins. I'm hoping that they still like build to that type of project like a Red Hood. It's too juicy for them not to show on the big screen. Um, but as I said before, the dynamics between like a killer 12-year-old kid alongside an adult, maybe a young father that is Bruce Wayne, it's going to introduce storytelling that's never been seen with Batman. And when you talk about rebooting characters, seeing stories time and time again, this is going to provide us with an all new look and one that's going to give DC fans what they want, right? In terms of you want to see this Batman story, come see Matt Reeves. You want to see one that's with a Robin, you want to see one that explores the Bat family, come to the DCU, right? It's just providing everything right now. Do you think there's going to be a sense of confusion here with these two Batmans, with the two different worlds? Do you think this is something that fans should be okay with, or should they have one continuous one, right, for a clear vision?
I personally would have just let the Pattinson one go because, like I said up top, I just think that no matter what, you're going to have people that just won't understand. You're going to have that no matter what. So for me, I would have waited till chapter 2 to introduce this Batman. You let the Matt Reeves universe die or flourish through three movies, their trilogy, their HBO Max shows that will happen through 2027. And then 2028, introduce your Batman and spearhead chapter 2 with Batman. And then Superman, you rely on for chapter 1, you rely on Batman in chapter 2. That's what I would have done, especially this one's called Gods and Monsters. You don't really think of Batman in that realm. You think of Superman, like as in God, like you think of Superman, Supergirl, Wonder Woman, whatever. So I think that would have worked better. I digress. One thing I will say that we haven't brought up. So we always talk about the animated series, the Batman animated series, and also the movies, animated movies, high productions or very high quality productions. There's one with Damian Wayne as Robin, Batman versus Robin. And like Damian's going through a crisis of like a mentality crisis. He's going to go back to the assassin ways and he's getting recruited by this other assassin basically to leave Batman. And the Court of Owls are involved. It gets crazy. Possibly, I would love to see a Court of Owls on the big screen. We talked about it in the Batman. Matt Reeves is a potential prediction. Maybe we get it here with the Bat family. I would love to see that as well.
You know what I'm looking forward to is like almost like an inner competition between the Batmen. Like who's going to have the better Batman movies? Who's going to be like the Batman of this generation? We talk about Michael Keaton's like the Batman of the like a generation. Adam West is a Batman of a generation, right? Bale then into Affleck is Pattinson versus who? Like who's going to be cast here? It's got to be the um juicy headline to go along with the idea of a Batman and Robin movie. And you're looking at probably a Batman that's still on the younger side, right? Someone that's like maybe in the like mid to late 30s, someone that can still be alongside a Superman. You don't want to have someone that's old enough, like where it's reminding you of Ben Affleck or Dark Knight Returns. We're not going to that level yet. So maybe someone late 30s. But like, did you ever think about that before we get to the castings, the rivalry between Batman and like, what if one is just way more successful than the other? What if this epic crime saga from Matt Reeves ends up becoming like the greatest thing we've gotten since the Dark Knight trilogy, or even surpasses it? We've only gotten one movie thus far. What if it's like that good and the Brave and the Bold is just blah? Like, how would you feel if you were that Batman actor in the Brave and the Bold movie?
Right. I agree. It's just not a good look. I do think, though, I think I disagree with you. I think it'll be a little older Batman. I do
No
think.
way. No, you got to have him so he can play along
Having a
Superman for a few
kid
years.
that's in his having a kid that's like high school
He's like
age.
11. No. But like Damian Wayne's like 11 or 12, dude. He's a
Yeah,
young
but
kid.
like
So
let's say 13.
Batman
Let's
has
say
Batman has a
13.
kid at 24. And then like he is 35, 36, 37. That's plenty of time.
I
Late
don't know.
30s.
I was thinking that they would probably try to have someone a little older to kind of counteract that other DC Elseworld.
No shot. You can't like well Pattinson's like yeah maybe he's a little late 20s. You know that's what the vibe he's giving off. Here you got to have someone that's less than 40. You can't have something that reminds you too much of what you just got with Batfleck,
I agree.
right?
I agree with that for sure. Huh.
Who
I
do you have
don't
in
know
mind
who
then?
I would cast. Hmm. I don't know. I would have to think about that.
You don't think you don't think Gyllenhaal just doesn't come in your mind? Jake
I,
Gyllenhaal is Batman, and someone that's not
dude, you know how
afraid,
old?
someone who's not afraid to do like dive into the superhero world, or is this a continuous superhero, like continuous story? Someone who's done the Marvel route before, someone who just did a Michael Bay movie. You don't think like he'll want to play Batman at this stage? Someone who was like rumored to play it so early on in his career.
I would love to see it. He's in a weird stage in his career. Maybe he might need to do that to get back to what he was. Like he's doing the Covenant, that the war movie, the soldier movie, and Anthony Starr's in it as well. That trailer just came out today. The Guy Ritchie movie, and he was in the Guilty, like Michael Bay, like you mentioned. He's got to get back on track. So maybe like he goes all in on action. He gets back. He gets into this Bat family, and then he kind of uses it as a springboard to get back to those Oscar type roles. And when he goes to the back half of his career, this is like the midpoint. I could see that. I would love that. I think he could do it. He definitely physicality easy, not even a question. Acting ability easy, not even a question. It's more like the outside baggage is what does DC want to bring that in? I think yes, but we'll see.
How about in the jawline matches up? Can he do like the more subdued, controlled Batman performance? Like, I mean, he hasn't been doing that recently. He's been going all out for these roles that he's had, really displaying the emotion here. We got a more emotional story. Maybe we can see a more. Oh, you can't really have a really volatile Batman when you have a kid. You got to be in control here. How about like guy who was a runner up to Pattinson, Nicholas Holt? Why can't he? He's running into his mid 30s now. I feel like he could do it as well. Young, exciting star. Someone who has action experience with Mad Max Fury Road. It seems like he's always in the running for these high profile roles. He's going to be in Renfield. It seems like it's just a fun movie. Like it could spur a sequel there too. Someone who's not afraid just to being a part of these more blockbuster movies or franchises. I could see him as a guy as well.
Yeah, I still look at him as so young, but you're right. He does fit the mold. Just his look, like in the menu next to Anya Taylor-Joy, I'm like, oh, mid-20s. Like, yep.
Yeah.
But that's why I just look at him like that. But I don't hate that either. I think JG is a much better option. Obviously, I'm biased, but I do think that I'm kind of like we'll talk about another project later where you came up with the perfect casting. I'm not even going to bring up another one because we're going to say it into existence.
Yeah. And then Damian Wayne, by the way, you got to do someone unknown. If you cast one of the Stranger Things kids, I'm gonna be livid. You
Yeah,
can't be doing that.
it's got to be an unknown. I was going to say the same thing because it's exactly what you said, and you need to have them be able to be looked at as Damian Wayne. All right, this is more important than Stranger Things. Like this is huge IP. You got to have them looked at as them, not as Dustin or whoever, Finn Wolfhard, whatever.
Exactly.